I want to welcome everybody tonight. Welcome to this Essential Education 101 webinar. We're going to talk about quality and chemistry. So we may have people hopping on and off here tonight, but I just wanted to go ahead and start right at the beginning. And we're going to just dive right in. I have been using essential oils for about 5 years. And we've been using them both in our family as well as I use them in my doula practice. I'm a childbirth doula and I teach childbirth education classes. So we talk about having babies and pregnancy and breastfeeding and new parenting and all of that fun stuff. So I've learned a lot about using these oils over the course of time, and I've also gotten some education from the amazing doctors and healthcare professionals that work for doTERRA. So I'm really excited to share with you everything I've got. So the first thing we're going to talk about is quality, and the quality does matter. So if you are familiar at all with essential oils, you'll know that you can get them anywhere. And just because you can get them anywhere doesn't mean you should. So most of us are familiar with some sort of essential oil. You've seen it. You may have even seen it somewhere like Walmart or CVS or Walgreens. They're all over right now. Nutrition stores have them as well, of course. And it's important to note that they're not all created equal, and you really get what you pay for. Something that a lot of people aren't familiar with is that there is no regulating body with the essential oil industry. So you can literally get something and it says it's 100% pure and safe to use on your kids, and it might have all kinds of stuff in it that is not pure and that is not safe to use on your kids. But they can put anything they want on the label because it's not regulated. We came into a situation where at our house we have a severe peanut allergy and a tree nut allergy, and we discovered that a certain brand of essential oils dilutes theirs with sweet almond oil. It's not listed as an ingredient because they don't have to list the ingredients. So it just said 100% pure lavender. Well, turns out if it has almond oil, we could have a reaction. We could have an anaphylactic situation, and I would personally like to avoid that. And I know most of you guys, if you have allergies in your home, you know, like our biggest thing is to avoid sticking our kid with an EpiPen. So as soon as I discovered that it's across the board a really kind of sketchy thing, that's when I started digging and I started learning about different brands and different sourcing and different testing procedures. So doTERRA, they have a really high quality. They go to a lot of testing. It's called Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade. And it may seem like, oh, this is just something they made up. Technically, yes. However, what it did is because there was no standard, they set the bar very high. No other company has been able to reach this standard on every product like doTERRA has. So I appreciate this. And as medical professionals, you guys should appreciate this. The fact that, you know, this is really not just therapeutic quality of oils, but the CPTG crosses into that medicinal quality of essential oils that we're looking for. So a few things about this CPTG. First of all, our plants are sourced indigenously. So it'd be like me trying to grow an orange tree here in Missouri. It's probably not going to go so well. It's going to grow best where it's supposed to grow. You know, it's going to grow better in a more southern, warmer climate where the soil is more suitable for an orange tree, and it's going to have a higher nutrient value in that more suitable environment. It's going to have a better flavor. So the same applies to our essential oils. If we're looking to get a high quality, high grade essential oil, we have to have a high quality plant. And so when we're looking to get the very best quality plants, we want to go where that oil grows best. Okay, so that's what doTERRA does, is they find where it grows best, and they find the farmers that know how to harvest these plants. That's the next one, harvesting at proper time and season. I could certainly have a greenhouse and try and grow stuff and bring in extra soil and nutrients for the soil and all of that. But in the natural environment where that plant grows best, it has the highest nutrient content, you know, that whole concept that we just talked about, we have to then harvest at the right time and the right season. One really fascinating thing to me is when you look at this map, you will see all the different areas that we source our plants. And I love that. I love that doTERRA goes all over the world to find these. One that is not on here is jasmine. And that's one that we have started to really scratch the surface on because it just came out as a regular item for doTERRA. It didn't used to. It used to be a special item. And something we've learned as we're beginning to dig in, since it's a regular item, we're starting to learn about it, is that the sourcing for jasmine is really particular. They have to harvest it not just at the right time of year, but the right time of day. It is a flower that has a moth pollinator. So it opens up at night for the moths, and then it's only open once it flowers. It's only open for, like, you have this brief window of time when you can actually harvest it to salvage the essential oils in the flower. It only contains the aroma that we're looking for 36 hours. So they have this really small 3 to 4 hour window to harvest that day's flowers off of the jasmine plant. I wouldn't know that. Not every farmer would know that. So the cool thing that doTERRA has done is they go into this indigenous region. They find the people that know the stuff about the plants, and they work with them. They work with sometimes 3rd and 4th generation farmers of specific crops. It's a really phenomenal situation we have. So then what they do is they test beyond industry standards. So we're checking, make sure that there's no foreign contaminants, making sure there's no pesticides present in our plants and in our oils, doing things like, making sure, does this plant have the right chemical makeup for the oil that it's supposed to have? So once they start distilling is when they can start to check out the chemical makeup. Right there and then, check the purity. Sometimes right at the source, before it even leaves that country of origin, it's already being tested. Then they come to doTERRA, and doTERRA does thorough testing on every single batch of oils. I got to visit doTERRA this last year and actually watch some of their testing procedures. It's the second time I've been, and every time I'm just blown away at how specific and stringent they do their own testing. The next cool thing they do, though, is they don't just test it themselves in-house. So doTERRA with this CPTG actually crosses into, it goes beyond all other types of oils, but it crosses into then third party. So doTERRA sends every batch of oil into third-party labs, sometimes in up to 7 different labs. So that's really phenomenal. I love that I have this stamp of approval on my products that I can know that it's verified, pure, safe, no stuff inside of it, 100% natural, and exactly what it's supposed to be. So the next one we want to look at is giving back. Not only do we want quality, we want accountability, right? So I want to know, yeah, they're sending them to third-party labs, so they're verifying that it's exactly what it should be. It's not just me saying my kid's the most beautiful, right? Of course I think my 3-year-old is the cutest, but I need somebody's outside approval, right? An outside opinion to tell me that, yes, in fact, you are correct, your child is the cutest 3-year-old, right? So same applies here. We want an outside party to tell us, yes, what you have found, this testing you've done is accurate. So because we go into indigenous regions where, these might be developing countries still. These might be countries that are kind of forgotten sometimes. And so doTERRA has established, it's called co-impact sourcing is the name of our sourcing. So what they do within this co-impact sourcing is they help the farmers to either go work in cooperatives, they train them, they teach them how to coordinate with other groups that are also harvesting the same plants so everybody can work together. They can help them improve their growing and harvesting practices, whether that's giving them technology or new scientific research or whatever it is to ensure sustainability. Something that doTERRA has recently started doing is they've actually worked with a really amazing researcher that actually she's a botanist, and so she is very familiar with keeping the plants sustainable, helping them to grow year after year after year, so we don't have a situation where we're, say, running out of frankincense or lavender. With doTERRA, we don't have to worry about that. If something is not sustainable, they will find another crop, or they will find another oil that fills that same need. We recently had this happen. Another company actually has been using some illegal oils, and it was just discovered. And when everybody started asking questions, well, what about doTERRA? What about their rosewood? doTERRA stopped harvesting rosewood several years ago because they noticed the sustainability factor wasn't there. So I think that's a huge just benefit to doTERRA, is that they do consider the eco-friendly factor. That is this something that we can continue to sustain and that's going to be environmentally friendly? Or are we going to have to cross into some sketchy guidelines to get what we want? And so I love that they are considerate, right? They are thinking about that. They're thinking about, in the area, you know, is this something that can be sustained, and how can we give back and help them to develop a better, more sustainable crop? The other thing is, a lot of these places, without doTERRA's help, it's varying plants, varying quality, and so doTERRA helps them to establish consistency in their crops and in their oils. They're really subject to volatile market pricing because people take advantage of them a lot in some of these countries. And so doTERRA helps them to receive fair and predictable pricing. They pay them fair wages all year round. They don't have to worry about, oh, well, this month I didn't do anything. So doTERRA has it all set up. The other cool thing is they have an organization called Healing Hands. And what that does is it goes back into the communities where their sourcing is, and let me find that slide for you guys. So they go back into these areas and they work with the communities. They find out, what do you need? What can we help you with? And it might be a school, it might be digging a well, healthcare centers, women's health centers. We've done all of these things. Currently, doTERRA has they have several projects. We learned about 5 of them that they have working in different areas where our sourcing is. So that's a really phenomenal thing that other countries aren't really, or other companies aren't really doing. Their humanitarian services also extend to partnering with other groups. So these are just a sampling of the ones that you may recognize. If you go to the website at the bottom, though, doTERRA.com/humanitarian wellness advocate partner projects. They also partner with their own wellness advocates to do specific projects. So it's a really neat situation where I know that I'm not just buying a bottle of oil, I'm actually investing into a community when I do that. And I love, love, love doTERRA's co-impact sourcing and their Healing Hands and their CPDG. All of these things are wonderful, amazing things that you just can't help but love. So let's talk a little bit beyond just the sourcing. doTERRA has this amazing website called sourcetoyou.com. I highly advise you go check it out. They talk about all of their sourcing. They go into all the details, where it's coming from, how they distill, their testing procedures, all of it. There's lots of videos on there, lots of information. So if you are someone who just likes to read information and check it all out before you dive in, this is the website to go to. The other thing they have on there is they have their GCMS test results. So if you get a bottle of oil, this is a bottle of oil right here, there's a batch number. You probably can't see it real well, but right at the bottom there's a batch number. And you can actually look your batch number up. Right now it's just single oils. It'll eventually include all of the blends as well. But you can look up the GCMS test results for each individual oil. That is not something that other companies do. You usually have to dig really deep to find any kind of test results. doTERRA is giving it to us. This is only the first layer of testing that they do, but the fact that they are making it widely available to anyone that wants to know is just huge. So you guys are here to learn about not just the quality, but the chemistry. So let's get into that. I am excited to share this information with you. So 3 things that we have to know is what oils are. Okay, so 3 things that oils are. Number 1, they're biologically active. Number 2, they're cellularly targeted. And number 3, they are selective as far as systems of the body. They apply to certain systems. Okay, so keep that in mind as we're going forward, because we're going to learn about how they break down and how you can figure out what exactly each oil is good for just by the chemical makeup. It's really cool. Okay, also need to know that all essential oils contain hydrocarbons. So we've got a hydrocarbon up there on the left. This is a blown up picture of a grapefruit. Grapefruit, all of our citruses, they are cold pressed from the rind. So that's where we get our oils. So these hydrocarbons are what make up the essential oils. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is monoterpenes. These contain 2 5-carbon chains. They are metabolized very quickly, and they're highly volatile. So that means the smell doesn't last real long. They don't stay real long on your skin. So examples of this would be grapefruit. It contains 95 to 98% of monoterpenes. That's the basic makeup of grapefruit, is a monoterpene. And so you put grapefruit on your skin and it smells delicious, but like an hour later, you're probably not going to smell it. It doesn't stay as long. It also is metabolized very quickly. Okay, frankincense is another one like that. Juniper berry, cypress, and melissa. So you see these percentages, that's the portion of that chemical makeup for that oil, the portion of it that is a monoterpene. The next is sesquiterpenes. Dun, 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 dun. So sesquiterpenes contain 3 5-carbon chains, okay? So these have a higher metabolic potential, and they're longer lasting, both on the skin, the aromatic properties. They're also much more complex, okay? So they have a little bit of a deeper, more rich smell to them. So an example would be cedarwood, patchouli, vetiver, ginger, or ylang ylang. You'll see that most of these contain a pretty fair amount of these sesquiterpenes, which is really cool. All right, so what we have then is these are like functional groups of essential oils, okay? So we break them down to learn about these functional groups. So you'll see here at the bottom, we're getting into even more specific groups. So the first main 2 were those monoterpenes and sesquiterpenes. Once we get past this, we get into these smaller categories, but they're very specific in their therapeutic abilities. So first one we want to look at is alcohols. Alcohols as a whole are calming to tissues, they're cleansing, they help eliminate environmental threats, they're uplifting to the mood, and they support healthy immunity. Okay, so as a whole, this group of essential oils, or oils that contain a fair amount of alcohols, they do these things. So sandalwood, basil, rose, marjoram, and geranium are among those main oils that contain a lot of these alcohols. So when you look at that list, you can know, okay, these oils are going to be good for tissues, cleansing, environmental threats, healthy immunity. Okay, so even in our blends, when you then look at specific blends, you can see, oh, that's why rose is in this one. Oh, cleansing, great. Calming to tissues, awesome. That's why it's in the blend that is good for anti-aging and for skin concerns, right? Next one is phenols. So phenols, they are going to be oils that have a lot of antioxidant qualities, okay? They are cell protectant, which I think is a really good thing to know here, because we're going to talk about one of the blends that has several of these in it. Soothing relief to muscles and joints, and they're immune supporting. So oregano is a really strong one. It has 85 to 95% phenols. That's a lot. So it's one that is really effective for the immune system. It's really effective for when you've come down with something and your body is needing to fight that off. A lot of times we go to the doctor and we find out, oh, you can't get an antibiotic for that. It has to run its course. Well, fun fact, the oregano can sometimes handle that immune support. But also at the same time, you could put oregano, now dilute it, always dilute it. If you have not been into just an essential oils 101 class, this is like the top thing we talk about. These phenols, oregano, clove, thyme, are among 3 of the oils that we always, always, always dilute. So by diluting, we mean we use a carrier oil to cause them to not, they're considered hot oils, so that your skin doesn't have a reaction. So when we use oregano, we can use it with a little fractionated coconut oil or even an unscented lotion if you wanted to. And you can massage it on joints and achy muscles even. So that's an interesting, you know, that soothing relief to muscles and joints that you wouldn't expect from an oregano, but it does have those properties. Something else to notice is that clove, 75 to 85%, well, it's in our On Guard, our protectant blend, our immune supporting blend. Imagine that. So I love that once you start getting into this, you start learning certain oils and why those blends might be a thing. Next are aldehydes. So aldehydes protect against environmental threats. Okay, environmental meaning stuff that's in the air, anything around you, right, in your environment. So calming to the body, supports healthy circulatory and digestive function, and supports healthy immunity. So you're going to notice a lot to do with our immunity. A lot of these oils are by nature going to boost your immune system. But several of these, the cinnamon is in our On Guard as well. It contains 65 to 75% of aldehyde. You're going to see a lot of just like that. Melissa is amazing for immune support. Here it is. So lemongrass, cassia, cilantro as well. So these are really effective at, you know, you can see the multiple different systems that these set of oils will address. The next category are ketones. So this is dill, peppermint, rosemary, fennel, and lavender that are the ones that are gonna show us which oils that we're most familiar with that would have these ketones in it. Calming to tissues, improves the appearance of skin, helps with a healthy respiratory response, and supports normal digestion. All great things. So you'll notice peppermint's going to show up on another list, just like Melissa has been on a couple. Like I said, these have multiple different properties to them. That's what makes essential oils so amazing, is that one might have 10 to 15% of ketones and the other has 50 to 55. So you can, you know, but the combination of, you know, ketones and aldehydes and all the other things is what creates this amazing combination that addresses so many different symptoms of the body. Next is going to be our esters. So relaxing to the tissues, calming to the emotions, and targeted topical application for irritated tissues. So birch, wintergreen, Roman chamomile, that's what this up-close picture is up here, clary sage, and lavender again. So you'll notice most of lavender's, the majority of lavender's makeup is this ester. It's 45 to 55%. And all of these have very, very high ester concentration. Wintergreen is that second one. It's extremely effective for several of the things that are on here, as well as because that next little 5%, it might contain, you know, something different. So it's really, I love getting into all this. Next is oxides. So these are cleansing to the environment, promote feelings of clear breathing, support healthy respiratory function, and they're calming to the tissues topically. So the examples we have on here are eucalyptus, rosemary, cardamom, and peppermint. These are all in that oxide category. So we're wrapping up here our basic essential oil chemistry, and I just wanted to show you these next two images. So these are two chemistry wheels that we have at our disposal from doTERRA, from their science committee. And what these are, as you can see along the bottom, it kind of explains what these different categories around the wheel are. So in the center, this specific group, this wheel, are oils that have a sesquiterpene backbone. Okay, so they fall into the sesquiterpene group. And we're going to see the functional group name, as well as then we'll see the chemical constituent name. And then on the outside, you'll see which oil falls into that category. Okay, so here we've got our stabilizing and our soothing oils. So sandalwood, vetiver, cedar wood, and patchouli are all alcohols, but they fall under the stabilizing in addition to the ketones, which is spikenard, also falls under that stabilizing category. Okay, so we're looking for oils that are stabilizing, we're gonna go here. Oils that are soothing, okay, we're gonna look at those sesquiterpenes and ethers. So that's gonna be ylang-ylang, black pepper, copaiba, which is a new one, melissa, ginger, cedarwood, and then myrrh is the one that falls under that ether category. All right, so then we have a lot of other familiar ones that fall under different categories based on their makeup, okay? These are all with the monoterpene backbone. So we're gonna see the clarifying essential oils are all with an alcohol, a main constituent of alcohols. We're talking melaleuca, marjoram, geranium, rose, coriander, cilantro, and basil. And then also under that alcohol, but falling into the calming category, is the lavender, petitgrain, clary sage, and bergamot. We also have Roman chamomile and jasmine that are esters that also fall under that calming category. Getting into the restoring category, we have esters like Siberian fir, helichrysum, arbor vitae, wintergreen, and birch. But then we have these other ethers under the restoring category like cardamom and eucalyptus. And then rosemary also falls under the restoring, and it's part ether and part monoterpene here. So we see then cypress, helichrysum, juniper berry, and frankincense that are under that monoterpene in the restoring category. We have uplifting oils like Douglas fir, blue tansy, lime, lemon, grapefruit, tangerine, wild orange, bergamot. You'll notice those are all citrus by nature except for blue tansy and Douglas fir. Then we have the soothing category again. Dill, spearmint, black pepper are under the monoterpenes. And then the soothing category under aldehydes are lemongrass and melissa. Into the protectant, the protecting ones, we have cinnamon and cassia and cumin and cilantro under our aldehydes. And then clove, oregano, and thyme under the phenols. Energizing oils are going to be phenol, and then falling, and that's a phenylpropene is what that's called. We didn't talk a lot about that specific category. And then spearmint, dill, and peppermint are ketones. Peppermint falls into the alcohol a little because of that menthol. And those are all energizing as well. So when we start to learn this chemistry wheel, it helps us understand a little more. You know, maybe you don't like the smell of, say, cypress, but you're needing something restoring. Well, let's look and see what else we can use. Let's maybe try helichrysum or juniper berry or birch or even Siberian fir. We have a lot of options when we're looking under that category. You know, maybe a monoterpene under the restoring isn't going to work for you. But if we look over at the ethers, maybe cardamom is. So it gives us a lot of options. It gives us a lot of knowledge on exactly what to go to when we are helping other people with their oils or for ourselves and our own families. So this is kind of the end for tonight for us. I wanted to just give you guys a little head start on exactly how these oils work and what they're used for and how to even figure out, you know, what is an essential oil. That's what an essential oil is. So I would love for you guys to join us. We are going to be doing these monthly in our Essential Education for Medical Professionals group. If you are not in the group and you were given the link to this webinar, I would love for you to join us. Feel free. We're going to take questions at the end, but I would love for you to just, you know, go over onto our website, owensfamilywellness.org, send us a message, sign up for our newsletter, let us know what you're looking to use these oils for. If you have questions, if you're not already a part of our team, we would love to have you join us. We would love to show you the ways that you can do this affordably, whether that's for your medical practice or for your family. And then if you're interested in learning how to do this in conjunction with your practice, we would love to walk you through that. We're already helping several people do it, and we would love to add you to that group. So next month, our topic is going to be Essential Education 102. We're still on the basics, but we're going to go to the next one, and it's going to be immune threats, talking about, especially right now, we're going into cold and flu season, and what can we do to boost our immune systems, to help our immune systems be functioning at their best. So that's going to be Saturday, October 7th at 10 a.m. It will be recorded just like this one for anyone who is, on call or anything like that, and you aren't going to be able to attend live. So I am so glad you guys have joined us. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and we will open up for questions as soon as we stop the recording. Thanks.